Well, Ken asked me to write some talking points for him this afternoon, and I didn't think he was going to keep in the part that I'd written about myself, but no, that was his part. Thanks for those wonderful comments, Ken. I really appreciate that. Really excited to have everyone come out tonight to learn more about ITEC's unique vision for empowering today's school children with the science, math, and technology skills to participate in the 21st century economy. I want to thank all of you for joining us. It means a lot to us at ITEC to have everyone come out. Consider for a moment, if you will, what we see in children when they start to learn. We see them explore the world around them. We see them touch. We see them taste things. We see them smell things. They're natural explorers of the world around them. Well, that's the essence of ITEC. It is capturing that, not with young children, but primarily with middle school students and high school students, now moving to younger students in elementary school. At ITEC, that guidance that we give them is in the direction of STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math. And ITEC brings creative learning environments to students all throughout the state of Michigan. We have operations both in Lansing and now just getting started in Flint. And the objective of all of this is to ignite that spark of exploration and give opportunity to at-risk youth to participate in the 21st century economy to build the skills that are needed in the future. We recognize at ITEC that opportunity that is offered to these kids today is really prosperity for this state, for this region tomorrow. And real regional prosperity won't happen without creative education. And ITEC at its core is really a community-sized project. It really requires everybody pulling in the same direction. The good news is that change is coming in many forms all throughout our community. For those of you who are new to ITEC, and I do recognize a lot of faces that were at our 2008 event, but we've obviously made a lot of connections in the community since then. ITEC is a dynamic collaboration of the public sector, private sector, and academic institutions, all coming together with a focus on moving kids in kindergarten all the way through 12th grade, primarily focusing on the grades that I mentioned, moving them into studies and success in STEM areas. What ITEC does in the process, and this was important in 2008, is important still today, and that is to develop the talent that's needed to move into computer science areas at Michigan State University. There's a shortage of qualified applicants to the computer science program. But probably even more important, there's a shortage of skilled IT talent in this community. We have more than 200 positions open right now in the capital region, and far more positions open statewide in IT. And ITEC is an initiative to build that talent from the ground up. So the crucial question, how do we get these super smart kids that come to ITEC to move to college success, to move to academic success, and to move eventually into career success? And that issue of preparedness for college readiness, is really at the core of ITEC. That's sort of the bar that we've set for measuring success as an organization. We've seen some exciting changes at ITEC in the 5 years since we were all together. It's actually 4 years since we were all together, 2008, 5 years since ITEC started. We now operate at more than 15 locations in Greater Lansing. We call the Foster Community Center home, but we also call home the Capital Area District Library, the YMCA of Lansing, 2 locations of the YMCA, great partnership. The Boys and Girls Club of Lansing, the Windermere Park Academy, Cristo Rey Community Center, and so on. We have this model of distributing ourselves throughout the community. Why so many locations, you may wonder? Well, that's simply where the kids are after school, and if ITEC is to have the impact that we're having, we have to be where the kids are, and we remove that critical barrier of transportation. We're not expecting the kids all to come to one location Instead, our instructors are going out into the community. So just what is it that goes on in those classrooms? Visiting the ITEC classroom, you would see students in an environment where they can be creative while building and programming robots, as you saw out in the entry, designing their own video games, programming animations. We use tools that go by names like Scratch and Alice, where students can learn how to develop their own cartoons, essentially. One that we saw just this semester, in fact, is a very creative and funny cartoon where you have a world inhabited with penguins and humans. The penguins and humans trade heads. Again, this is a student's creation, not mine. The penguins and humans exchange heads. They dance with one another, and then the heads go back on the appropriate bodies. And the animations can get a lot more complex than that. The key thing to remember here is that everything that you would see in a world that is developed by one of these students is their own creativity, their own ideas being expressed, and being expressed in an IT environment where they are programming what you see in that animation. So throughout all this, we're building 21st century learning skills that are crucial to these student success, analytical skills, problem-solving skills, and so on. In 5 years of working with students, particularly over the last 4 years, we've taught more than 1,500 students in Lansing and now outside of Lansing. And we are particularly impacting student attitudes toward STEM areas. We can say we have wonderful data to say that students are more than twice as likely to say that they want to go on and take more science and math classes in high school than they said before they did ITEC. And that change in attitudes, the sort of self-identity of the student toward STEM, is really at the heart of why we do what we do. It's changing their perception of themselves, changing their teachers' perception of them. We often hear from teachers that they didn't know that student could do the things that they're now doing. We're tracking those kids. We're following them through high school and asking the key questions. Are they taking more science and math classes? Are they doing well in STEM areas? Are they doing well on standardized tests in those areas? So that's all crucial data that we are using when we follow our students. ITEC is preparation for the Lansing Promise. As I think most of you know, the Lansing Promise is a multi-pronged effort in cities scattered throughout the state of Michigan. It's both academic preparation and helping students afford college by providing scholarships to them. It's a very important initiative. They're leaders of the Promise here tonight. ITEC is actively partnering with the Lansing Promise in the area of math. We have been asked by both the Promise and the school district to work in the area of math. And just this week, we're getting started with a project called iMath, where we are using a web-based curriculum after school. This is after school tutoring, the iMath project. A web-based curriculum where students come into the room, log on, and it will successively or progressively move them along in math, and it assesses them up front so they can move along and be at very different grade levels all in the same room and move along. There are human tutors in those rooms as well, ITEC tutors who are working with the students, because inevitably in this web-based environment they're going to get stuck and they're going to need assistance. So we've got the web-based application and the human tutors both. So it's an exciting project. It just started on Monday. So we're really just beginning to look at whether it will have impact. But it's using a tool that's been very successful in other areas. So what I'd like to do, you had the benefit of seeing the demonstrations in the hallway. But let me give you a little more sense of that Lego Robotics team that you saw from the Boys and Girls Club of Lansing when we first went into that classroom. They're the Titans. I don't know if everybody caught that, but they're the Titans sponsored by TechSmith and the College of Engineering, Michigan State University College of Engineering. So you are there on the first day. What would you see? You would see kids swearing at one another. big-time swear words. You'd see them hitting each other. You'd see pieces of robots flying through the air. You would see what, I think your observation would not look like a team. Nothing like they look like that you can see out there tonight. There was really a complete unwillingness to work together, a sort of me versus them mentality. And to us, looking on it as newcomers to that group, it was clear that they were that they'd spent their lives looking out for themselves, protecting themselves, expecting no one to help them, and they showed a real unwillingness to allow others to use their things. So if a robot was assembled by them, then it's their robot and their robot alone. So again, really not looking like a team. So we did a lot of team building exercises. We did a game called the Human Knot game, where they grab hands not with the person next to them, but the person one off from them, and they have to unravel. They get to know one another. They see each other up close. They played a game called Two Truths and a Lie, where they obviously told two truths about themselves, a lie, and the other students had to pick out which was which. And so it was, again, this way of building a sense of camaraderie, a sense of team that's so critically important. So now fast forward to the Lego Robotics competition, the challenge that they participated in at MSU. You'd obviously see kids who had learned a lot of robotics. They show that off tonight. But more important, they'd learned how to be a team. Each child knew exactly which aspect of the challenge they were responsible for. They took second place. I don't know if any of them told you this, but they took second place in research quality, which was the Titans. Second place in research quality for developing a website called kidshelp.com, developing the concept for the website, where kids can volunteer to help seniors. Seniors being the theme, as they can tell you, seniors being the theme of this year's robotics competition. Every year there's a theme chosen. Some years it's things like biomedical engineering. This year it was seniors, and they developed kidshelp.com. So what a change to go from, I don't need your help, I'm not going to help you, to let's develop a website together, let's work together, and let's help out seniors that need help. So it was really a wonderful transformation. At the competition, we saw students who genuinely cared about one another. They cheered each other on by name. When the robots fell apart, they helped each other rebuild the robots, because that's part of doing Lego Robotics. When questioned by the judges, there's judging areas, there's competition areas, and so on, if you've ever been to one of these. When questioned by the judges, one student spoke up and said the thing that surprised him was the most that they got along with each other. So that was a nice thing for us to hear. This was my applause moment, but we're proud of our team and thank them for coming tonight. I'm really pleased that you guys are staying for this part of the program. With that, I want to thank you again for coming tonight. I also would like to recognize a few key people in this effort. I want to, first of all, really express my heartfelt gratitude to our board. You've had the vision for launching this organization, and probably more important, the vision for spreading it throughout the community. Without the hard work that you've done, ITEC would not be where it is today. So I want to ask our board members to stand, and both past and present, I know there's some not current board members here, ask them to stand and be recognized. I want to thank our many community partners, many of whom I've already named. Our community partners do a lot to make ITEC happen in those locations, as you can imagine, transportation, recruitment, and so But I particularly want to thank Michigan State University and Lansing Community College. Many of our instructors come. We have support at the highest levels of the institutions, really critically important. We have faculty partners who do research at ITEC looking at innovative ways to do this sort of education. So really all throughout these institutions we have a collaborative partnership, and it's really wonderful. It really has strengthened ITEC. I also want to recognize our lead instructor. We've sort of done this already for our Lego Robotics team, Kelly Lewis. Kelly, if you could please stand. And while Kelly stands, I'd like our other ITEC instructors also to stand. Chris Shaltry, Atef Abu Agil, Dominic Lucina, I think Dominic made it here, and Sean Hubbard as well. Finally, I want to recognize one person who's been critical to ITEC's growth over the past year. More than any single person, she's responsible for our being able to say something today that we couldn't say a year ago, and that is full classrooms and waiting lists. And it's really wonderful to be able to say that. Kathy Post is a wonderful addition to ITEC, and I'd like to recognize her and ask Kathy to stand up.